The family of a teenager allegedly paid £35,000 by a BBC staff for sexually explicit photos is said by The Sun to be upset by the corporation's latest response. The BBC said it first became aware of a complaint in May and then of new allegations on Thursday. But the family alleged no one from the BBC rang them for a proper interview after the initial complaint. The unnamed presenter has been suspended. The BBC said it was working as quickly as possible to establish the facts. The corporation is also meeting the Metropolitan Police later to discuss the matter. Claims the presenter began paying the young person over a 3-year period, starting when they were 17, were first reported in The Sun on Friday. Concerns have been raised about the BBC's complaints process. Primarily, what steps were taken to question the unnamed presenter and to investigate further. Justice Secretary Alex Chalk called on the BBC to get their house in order and investigate the allegations promptly to avoid innocent people's reputations being damaged. Speaking to BBC Breakfast, he said, "Time is of the essence because it is not fair on the victims, it's not fair on people who could be implicated, and it's not fair on the BBC, which does an important job." He added that the BBC must look at the chronology of allegations and establish who knew what and when. A number of BBC presenters have distanced themselves from the allegations on social media over the last few days. Most recently, BBC Breakfast presenter John Kay said on Twitter that he would not be back on air for 2 weeks due to long-planned annual leave with the family. In a statement on Sunday announcing a staff member had been suspended, the BBC said it was working as fast as possible to establish the facts in order to properly inform appropriate next steps. The BBC first became aware of a complaint in May, it said. New allegations were put to us on Thursday of a different nature, and in addition to our own inquiries we have also been in touch with external authorities, in line with our protocols. It added that the corporation expected to be in a position to provide a further update on the process in the coming days. In a news story, published by The Sun on Sunday evening, the paper said the family were upset with the wording of the BBC's Sunday statement. It also claimed the BBC presenter made what it calls 2 panicked calls to the young person, who is now 20, after The Sun's report came out. The presenter allegedly asked the young person, "What have you done?" and asked them to ring their mother to get her to stop the investigation, the paper said. BBC News has not been able to independently verify these claims. BBC's culture editor Katie Ratzall said the corporation's first statement appears to suggest its initial investigation may have been hampered by a lack of response from the family. In the statement, released on Friday, the BBC said it did actively attempt to speak to those who have contacted them to seek further detail and understanding of the situation. If we get no reply to our attempts or receive no further contact, that can limit our ability to progress things, but it does not mean our inquiries stop. If, at any point, new information comes to light or is provided, including via newspapers, this will be acted upon appropriately, in line with internal processes, added the BBC.